you'd call it a long-term review. First off, welcome back to the RC Dungeon. We have the Redcat Ascent. I figured it was close enough to time I've had this truck now for, it's hard to believe it's only been a year after going through all my videos and everything. This truck has been a very, very huge staple in the RC Dungeon performance truck garage. So, still a truck that, you know, I think people either come to like it, love it, or, you know, it gets a lot of hate. Redcat in general gets a lot of hate. You know, I don't get hung up on brands. My Gen 8s have been wonderful trucks. Had a Gen 7, you know, long time ago. It was a, you know, okay starter RC. In my opinion, when this is the original, not the Fusion. I can't comment on the Fusion because I don't have one. Wouldn't mind having the Fusion to add to the stable here. I almost bought the Gen 9 when they had that big sale a while back, but I just kind of more of a scale. I like the hard body stuff on the trail stuff. I've got enough trail rigs, so I didn't get the Gen 9, but they are nice looking trucks. Neo RC has one that he's got decked out on his channel that looks really good. I'm an International Scout fan, so, you know, there's that. But back to the Gen 9. So I've had this for a year. I have not been easy on this truck. Not even a smidge bit gentle. From the day I got it, brand new, brought it home, it went straight to, you know, testing it, pretty hard use on it. You know, I got this truck immediately. They weren't even put on the shelf yet at the local hobby shop. And I went in there, and they had this one, and they had the red one. And I can't remember. I ended up getting a small discount on this truck, and it was pretty affordable. And I was like, yeah, I can't pass up that price that they were offering it to me for, you know, because it is a, you know, LCG style, you know, what Redcat marketed it at. Even though I would say it was just, I would call it more of maybe now I would call it more of a performance trail rig. Not that you can't really set this thing up, and now everybody's making chassis. There's like the DSM chassis I was gonna get for this, but which I'm still looking at chassis. Also, Ryan over at Unfair Advantages, I may hit him up. I think he has a chassis. I'm looking at options because diving into this, back into the review here, longer term. We'll call it a long-term, year-long review. It is cold down here in the RC Dungeon basement. I'll turn the heat up. So right off the bat here, what we've gotten that we've bent and or broke or had to replace on this truck, and it's very minimal. So I have bent the rear frame, and then I cut the back portion of the rear frame off and shortened it because it was getting hung up on things. And then I had a smaller tube spacer in here, and I flipped it off of our course, and it went about 35-40 feet down. For those who watch the channel and watch the course, you know, that course ain't, it's a lot tougher than it looks in the videos. You know, and it's that one bridge we have is, when you fall, man, you fall. You know, you're falling just off the one side. You're falling, you know, probably 15 feet straight to the ground. We've launched trucks 5-10 foot up above the bridge, getting them caught. If a truck falls, it usually takes damage. We've broke servos there, bent chassis there. So you got to be careful what you're doing on the RC Dungeon proving rounds. So we've got I bent this frame again and bent an aluminum tube support, chassis support that I had back there. If it had been plastic, it would have been probably catastrophic. I was able to bend the chassis back out, but I've still got a little doved in piece right here with the chassis. It was bent pretty bad. So I did end up bending this heavier duty chassis that everybody says, you know, weighs a metric ton, which it's heavy. Which is somewhat of a downfall for a performance-based truck. You want to, you know, more lightweight, depending how you look at things. The stock links, I ended up in the rear down here in the bottom. I did break an end link on the factory. I think it was actually this side over here. I actually did break one of these right here. I broke one of those. So I had some Wraith links that were just a little bit shorter that I extended out. Well, on the accident that bent the chassis, I broke one of the end links here. But these are axial end links that I'm running because I have a beveled end link. So, you know, I guess, I mean, if it would have had the stock, maybe Redcat link on there, it would have been or broke that. I don't know. But it didn't bend the link, but it broke the end link off. So I snapped that off. The body, and this thing's really taking a beating, guys. There's miles and miles of smiles on this thing. It is... I couldn't tell you how much run time's on this truck. It's had an 1800 Fusion. It's had this 1200 Fusion. I wore out a 550 can, 12 turned hobby wing in it. I wore out a pinion, the stock pinion gear, because you know they're made out of brass or whatever they make them out of. So I didn't wear out the spur gear. I wore out the actual metal pinion gear. It wore out. It was starting to get kind of loud. And I just swapped in another Redcat pinion gear on it because, you know, the first pinion gear got, I don't know, I couldn't tell you how many miles is on this thing. It's got a lot. You know, it's had so many 3S packs ran through it. I wore out the only motor I actually wore straight slap out in this thing was the Holmes Hobby 550. I think it was a 10 or a 12. I can't remember what turn brush motor that was in there. We'll go ahead and pull the body off of it here real quick, and we'll go over. This body has taken some serious hits over the years. I have repaired the front, and this body is just almost unrepairable now. I'm going to try to take all this apart and take all this mess off of it. I gotta drop something here. And try to actually go in here and reinforce the front end with some drywall tape and shoe goo, and then put it all back together and properly repair it once and for all. And if it'll hold up a little bit longer, this truck will get an upgrade on it. Still have the stock servo in this thing. So the stock servo has gotten to the point to where it's basically not got much life left in it to give. If you get a tire on this like I had before I went through and got these things set up to where I needed to wait, when the tire would mush over, this servo would bind and it would just squall and cry like a little baby. It couldn't take the load that you were putting on the servo. It just wah. So that servo has finally worn out, and I mean, you know, for what it is and how many miles is on that thing, I am not complaining by far. It isn't going to get replaced with another one of these, not because I'm not happy with it, but just because I can get a really cheap, affordable 55 kg servo off of Ally. And I'm not one of them guys that has to spend $100 on a servo to be happy. I've got 3 brother servos that are over here that are just stupid high powered, and I just haven't had a use to run them. I'm just not one of those guys that have to have $150, 80 kg steering servo. 45, 55, these cheap servos have done me really well. Just be honest with people. I don't really run like competition stuff. I mean, I'm doing some pretty hard shit though. On my channel, for those who actually watch, that course is for real. It's not a joke, and it is hard on stuff. So, and I do some pretty hard trail stuff and rock crawling and stuff like that in areas that you need some shit. So, still have not had any need to spend $150 on a fancy name servo. That's just me. Let's see if we're still recording. So, let's see. I have added some shock keys to put some angle on my shock towers without having to buy Rock Pirate shock towers and whatnot. Because this was a build that I wanted to be. It was a budget build. That's the whole reason why I got the truck for the channel. And just going and buying like $80, $90 shock towers from Rock Pirates was not on a budget, is what I considered. I considered doing what I could. So it got cheap. Shock keys, these came from my buddy, but you can find these shock keys online. I think they're like maybe $8 or $9, and you can just drill a couple new holes in some of them, and you get basically the same angle that you're getting. I don't know about the Fusion, but if you're going to run the Rock Pirates, if you're looking at the Rock Pirate shock tower conversion and stuff, this is basically the angle that they're going to give you. So that's how I got my front end angled and the rear end angled and got a little better shock articulation out of it. So another budget thing I did was the mini T-front or springs in the front. That was from the RC review guy. He gave me that idea. And works fine that way. I also have the internal shocks out of the rear, still have the internal springs and the front shocks, and it gives me plenty. I don't need any more than that. I don't need 25 inches of articulation. That's just me. Sometimes that can screw you. Like I said, it was a budget build, and we tried to push it as far as we absolutely could. And this truck has held up. I heard guys, I don't know, I don't venture into the Redcat group that much anymore, but I heard guys saying about, the plastic geared transmission in these. Haven't had a problem. These still has the stock plastic overdrive. I put the highest overdrive option in that they give you with this transmission. Haven't had an issue, not even at all, not even a little bit. This works fine. There's been no problem whatsoever with the plastic gears inside the transmission in this. I lubed it up probably a year ago when I first got in there and did the overdrive, the videos here on the channel. And I haven't had any issues. No differential problems, no axle problems. unfair advantage is link riser has taken several hits over and over and held up really well, because this is the truck that I have the aforementioned link riser that I had a lot of comments on the channel that link risers and this and that don't work, and well, I can definitely tell a difference. I don't. Some of the bigger channels, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they know more than me. You know, I'm just a small, crappy channel. So, doing my best to bring you guys usable content, you know, and I'm not sponsored by anybody and have any reasons to say anything else. For me, I can still recommend that link riser. It helped this truck for me. You know, maybe it's my setup and it's other setups. I don't know. But for me, well worth it. For $11, I think I paid. I can't remember what I paid for it. It's in other videos on here. Nothing else is broken on this truck. I gotta find the spot on the table here. This truck, I've managed to get it balanced out really nice, as you can see. I don't know how many Redcat Ascents you can take and sit down like that that's running the stock chassis. This truck took me a lot to get the weight balance and everything where I wanted it with the stock chassis. Still running, it's pretty much like I said, drive shafts are still in it, or the factory drive shafts. I did have to, this mod right here, spacing out your front motor plate mount right here, because this dry shaft, my front dry shaft bound up on this truck. I don't know if it's something Redcat's fixed. I don't even know if Redcat's making this standard Ascent model. Like I said, I would love Redcat. Why don't you send me a Fusion? I would love to have a Fusion. I try not to ask for free shit like a lot of the other channels. Please give me, because that's not what I'm about. My gosh, Redcat, I do like your products, and I am not sponsored by them whatsoever. And I will wholeheartedly tell you, I am not afraid to tell somebody to buy Redcat. I don't care. I have Traxxas, I have Redcat, I have high-end custom trucks, I have Vanquish stuff, I have Axial. I just don't see the hate that is geared towards Redcat. I just don't get it at all. This truck, like I said, I have wore out, the main thing I've wore out is the pinion gear in the motor and bent the chassis. Bending the chassis was my fault, being stupid, just being hard on the truck. Wasn't manufacturer. It's a heavy chassis. It fell like 25, 30 feet and, you know, hit wood and bent. You know what I mean? So, it wasn't the truck's fault. It wasn't the manufacturer's fault. It was my fault. I think a lot of guys that break stuff, that are hard on stuff, I think you guys blame the manufacturers a little too much. If you're doing stupid stuff happens. You know, not trying to offend anybody or make anybody mad. I'm just, you know, telling the truth. The servo is on its way out the door, but for a year's worth of service, of hard service, and I've always had something in here with the voltage cranked up on it. So I've always had the voltage cranked up to, think I had the, whatever the 1080V G2 goes to, I had it as high as it would go. It may be 8.4. I can't remember which one the G2 goes. I always get that crap. But I did have the second generation 1080 turned as far up as I could get it. And I ran it in this for a while. And then any other time it's been on 7.4, so that may have had something to do pushing the servo as far as I could for as long as I could. That may have had something to do with it, I don't know. But all the links have still held up in the front. There's not like any excessive play in the front links or anything. It does have some excessive play back here in the rear. It always kind of did have a little bit of axle swing, and a lot of guys kind of cry and complain about that. I don't know. I've never noticed it causing me any kind of issues running it on the course. I mean, I know guys are really sensitive that do competition stuff. I, once again, feel as a lot of the competition and the rules stuff and everything just is too complicated. I feel as it adds too much stress to the hobby, and You know, I just want to go out and have fun and enjoy it. You know, that's how I look at RC crawling. You know, you go out with some friends and enjoy. You know, I don't want the stress of competition crap, because then you're like, I got to do this, I got to do that, and there's time stuff, and no, that's not for me. So, anywho, getting back into this, that's it, guys. All I've done is marine greased, simple, cheap marine grease, and all the axles in this truck, and it hasn't seen an extra amount of water or anything like that. But I can't see any major changes coming to this truck, minus I like to get some higher clearance chassis sliders for it. And then maybe later on down the road, I may hit unfair advantage up on his chassis. I think he makes a chassis. You know, I still kind of use this as a crawler basher, so I hate to change it a lot, but, you know, I hate to change what works really well. That's what I mean, because this truck works really well. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of a, you know, a longer term review on this Ascent. You know, I don't see as much stuff on YouTube about the Ascent as what you used to. I had Terry asking me about what I thought of the Ascent. I don't know if you get the straight Ascent model, what you can buy. I think I'd say you'd be better just to buy the Fusion anyways. I think we have one guy in the 304 RC group that says that I think he broke something. I want to say maybe he broke the carbon fiber chassis. I haven't looked into a lot of on the Fusion stuff. Like I said, I would like to have a Fusion, just because I like these trucks a lot. And I wouldn't mind having the Fusion, the deck out, and I probably would use it more as a trail truck than I probably would making, you know, as more of a performance truck. Because after running a bunch of these LCG trucks and stuff, you are better, in my opinion, to do the research and build a custom performance truck than probably truthfully just going and buying one. You know, even with the stance, I have a few friends with some stances. I've ran some of the stances. I mean, they're nice. I don't think they're you know, a little bit better maybe than a Fusion. I don't know. The tires that they come on give them a height advantage right off the bat, so you know, the big difference is out of the box is the tires. I'd imagine if you switch the tires between the two trucks, there's not that big of a mega difference, I don't figure. So if you're really wanting performance, my thing to tell you would be to just build the truck. But you're going to have to put the time and the research in to do so. So I know a lot of people just want to be able to open a box and run it. I like RTRs too, nothing wrong with them. But, you know, these trucks, now they are a mega capable, in my opinion, set up right trail truck. They really are. But all out performance LCG stuff until you get into really modifying things. You know, I can't say that it's a mega performance truck unless you really put the time in and setting it up. You know, I took little changes in this truck and really got it to work. But it took some finagling, and especially staying on a budget. And there's a lot out there for these Ascents. You can really tune one out. Like I said, check out Unfair Advantage. I think he's got chassis sliders. He's got a badass LCG, really capable, because he's really big into the comp stuff. And he's not one of them big names like DSM and stuff. But if I'm the betting man, I would say his chassis is probably one of the better ones out of all the LCG chassis out there, because he's into the comp stuff pretty big, I think. So, yeah. So, anyways, that's what we got here for the Redcat Ascent. I'm not real impressed with the body. You know, that was one thing. You know, I've been rough on it, but I've got to go in here and try to add some better reinforcements with this. And I think some drywall tape and some shoe goo and putting the front mount back on it, I can get some more life out of it. You know, I'm not ready to swap out different bodies and stuff on it as of yet. And then I've got to get some. I replaced the rear link ends on this one already, so how this truck is set up is how it's going to stay for play, because I've got it dialed where it needs to be. And I hope everybody is, you know, enjoying the channel. Once again, I want to thank everybody. You know, everybody that's dropping comments down in the channel. Super appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me, the people that actually take the time to like and comment. It's the reason why we do the videos, fellas, ladies, and gentlemen. Hopefully, if there's something you guys want to see, you know, I can probably do it. I'm going to be working on the final review of the HB Toys 1001. I think's what it is. I can't remember. I think that's the number. Bronco. It's basically the short wheelbase, which is a sport chassis with a clone Bronco body. It's a little smaller than the TRX4 2021 Bronco. So, one of my favorite trail trucks. Love it, just to go out and run. You know, it ain't going to do anything stupid because it's just more of a scale truck. You know, for heaven's sakes, you have to have some scale. So, getting into, I think that's pretty much it, guys. If there's, like I said, if there's something you want to see on the channel, I'm going to do one more video on the tires, and this video might drop before the clone tires here. Before I get it, I mean, I noticed, I don't know if a lot of people were interested to watch that video. I thought that would, you know, bring a little more views to the channel. Maybe a lot of people aren't interested in the budget tires. I don't know. That's fine by me, because at least I'll definitely buy more of them because they work that well. Yeah, so, you know, we may not cover that stuff as much on the channel. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to take the time out and do videos that the views aren't going to be there for. I just was trying to share some budget stuff on the channel for everyone. So drop a comment down below if you guys want to keep seeing budget stuff. If you don't, then drop a comment down below. Nah, you're not really into that. I'm trying to get, you know, conversation started with the channel in the comment section. To try to get the channel to grow a little bit more. So anyways, I got some good subscribers. I've got some good viewers. I super appreciate everybody. I really do. I'm just not saying that. I love it when you guys take the time out and we converse. Douglas Perry, DRZ. I got names wrote down, but I'm not good at remembering. Gibson Life, Russell Gipford, West Virginia Rednecks R Us. Tony from SC Redneck RC, I think. Catching up on some of your videos. So anyways, if I didn't mention you, I didn't forget about you. And it doesn't mean I don't watch you. From the RC Dungeon. Peace.